Oh, I love
Revelation 21, when he says that there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. And in that new heaven and that new earth, there's no more crying. There's no more mourning. There's no more darkness.
Yeah.
And it's going to last forever
Yeah.
and forever and forever.
Yeah.
And on those days that, it just, sometimes days feel, you hate to use the word hopeless, but some days it's like, this is life? It's going to just be this way? My kids are never going to behave.
Right.
My husband is
happening?
never going to be the leader that I want him to be, or we're never going to get out of this financial bind, or, whatever. This life is hard.
Yeah.
This life is great too.
Right.
But this life is hard. But there is coming a day when it's all going to be done. And here's what I've read recently too that I had never thought about before. I was reading in a book, and it was talking about, he called it architecture of the soul. And he said, what if the purpose of this life is to be building our soul, the character of our soul, so that we can enjoy heaven more. And of course, there's no proof for this, but he just said, what if the rewards in heaven, if heaven's going to be perfect for everybody, then how are there rewards if it's perfect for everybody? Because most of us feel, if I want the biggest reward, then how's it perfect if I don't get the same reward that they do? Which we know that's not going to happen because it's perfect. But what can that mean? And he just posed the thought, what if on earth we're building character in our soul that helps us enjoy heaven more? We're all getting the same thing, but my reward is, because of the character that I've built on earth, I can enjoy it. And the example he used is really great. He said, what if two people go to an art museum? One is an artist, and one cares nothing about art. And you go and you both stand and you look at the same paintings. The artist is, it just speaks to me. And the football player says, not so much speaking to me. You're looking at the same thing, but how it means so much more, because the artist has, that's within them, just to truly love it. And what if the purpose of life is building the character of our soul so that we're going to enjoy heaven more? Like, that helps me, even on those bad days, think, okay, I need to get my soul
straight,
in the right place, because I want to enjoy everything that there is, that God has to offer. And it's going to be perfect, and it's going to be wonderful. But what if there was even more I could enjoy because of what I had done with my soul during this 100 years that I've got on earth?
Well, even like the closeness in the here on earth that you have, because that verse that you said, my grace is sufficient for you.
My grace is sufficient
for you. But I love the end of that verse is, for my power is made perfect in weakness.
Yes.
Because where we are weak, that's when Christ is strong, and getting to live in his strength and in his daily bread every day, and like having him carry us in the here and now from strength to strength. There is a peace that passes all wisdom and understanding, and a joy and a comfort that is not explainable almost. And you know what? That is a here on earth joy when you're doing it in God's strength and in his power, even like in the hardest woes. Does that make sense? So like so there is a blessing here in our struggling too. If that. Yeah,
there is joy even in, if we have to wait until everything is good to say we have joy, there's going to be very
little joy.
Very few moments in life that everything is working just right. But I even look back on that 11 months that Floyd and I had, and I can honestly say, just on a personal level, not anything to do with being with my family, being with my parents or my kids or now my 5 grandkids, taking all of that away, just me. Those 11 months were the most joyful, wonderful months of my life. And more than half of that time, we knew Floyd was dying. So even in the midst, God was still bringing joy. So that it's exactly what you were saying, is that it's not, well, when things get to that good point, then I can experience joy.
Right.
We can have joy, which is the thing a non-believer can't understand. How could you possibly have joy when things are going so bad?
But you can't explain the joy of being in his power and in his arms and in his comfort.
Yes.
And that's, I think, why, just back to the verse that you talked about, with the comfort that we received, then go comfort others. Because that's why we're called to call back and say, hey, let me just tell you about the comfort that God gives. Because he can meet you through all of these things.
And even if you can't explain it, even if I'm right there with you, I am struggling too. If you're talking to a person, I'm struggling too, but I can tell you there still can be joy underlying all of those struggles.
Yes.